This is Kane Prevost from Straight Glass Gym, Portland, Oregon, and this is Ella Prevost. Today I want to show you 3 different methods of flattening out the bottom guy when you're in a cross-side top position. So sometimes when you're working cross sides, the top guy will be up on their shoulder a little bit, and you can have a really hard time getting them flat. So from this sort of position, how do you flatten them out? And so we're going to look at 3 different ways of doing that. All right, the first one I'm going to do is called the Pry Bar. And so I'm in cross-side top, hand on either side, it doesn't really matter. The thumb is going to get a little bit of a collar grip. I like this one because I don't have to get a really deep grip. So I use this one when I'm having a bit of a struggle going deep. All I need to do is just get a thumb and a collar. So my thumb goes in the collar here, I grip, and then the pry bar is done with the elbow. And so the analogy I use is like putting something in your back pocket or pouring out a pitcher of water. So either of those kind of show you the motion with the hand. Pour out a pitcher or put something in your back pocket and you'll see how it works. Thumb in, pour out the pitcher like this, and it cuts right across the cheek, and even on the biggest, strongest guy, because you're moving the head, the whole body's going to go and they're going to get really flat. And I almost always follow that up with a shoulder pressure. So let's look at that again. Thumb in, get a little bit of collar, grab, and then pour out the pitcher like that. And you can see it feels like I'm overemphasizing the shoulder and elbow, and you have to do it really hard in order to get it to go, especially against a big guy. But this generates a ton of force. There. So that's the pry bar. The next one I'm going to show you is the coffin hand. It's called the coffin hand because if you do it right, they should feel like they're under 8 feet of dirt because it's a really strong pressure move. I'll do it first and then I'll explain it. Okay, so the coffin hand allows you to apply a lot of pressure with your chest and then your hand placement. So this one, suppose she's got her head tucked in and I can't get underneath here at all, but I want to get her flat. And so if I can't get there, this space becomes open, so I'm going to occupy this space and then slap her back down low here. And then I'm going to roll her up. Rolling her up means my chest goes high and my hips go low as I drive forward. Like that. And so if you see my chest is high, I'm looking up, arching, and my hips are down low like that. And that should apply a lot of pressure. So a mistake people would make here is they would do that, and you can see my hips going high. If my hips are higher than my chest, there's no pressure. So I'm going to do it wrong again. So you have to be like this. And so watch one more time. I'm trying to get in here, but she brings her head down. So I come over the top and slap low. Hip goes low, chest goes high. Another key point is you need enough distance or space to roll. So sometimes I have to back up before I roll her out. And let me show you what happens if I don't back up, and then it'll make sense. So I'm going to slap here, and I'm not going to back up, but I'm going to roll her out. And you can see I'm too far forward. That doesn't work really well. So sometimes when I slap like this, down low, I have to back up to the chin. Like this, to the chin, and that's going to give me enough space. Slap low, and then drive, and then lower your hip like that. And they should roll really nice and flat. There should be a lot of pressure. The more I sort of shoot my hip down to the mat, the more pressure is going to be on them. So if I was to do it, Ella's up here, she's blocking out, and I can't get in. I'm going to slap. I'm going to back up to the chin, like this, and I'm going to roll like that, shoulders up high, hips down low, and then now she tries to turn into me. Nothing. Really tight. So that's the coffin hand. And then the very last one is going to be the one most people already know. At the gym, we call it the shoulder of justice, and I'll detail the specifics of the shoulder of justice in another video. But for right now, it's going to look like this. If there is some space here and you're able to get in, I'm going to get in and drive deep. I'm trying to drive deep enough that my shoulder can make contact with her neck here. That's going to be the important part. Like that. And then I usually will grip the armpit like this, and then do the driving with the shoulder like that. Now what's important is that I'm not getting up on my side, I'm going flat to the mat. So here's a common mistake. See, I went really sideways. Don't go sideways because that puts you in a position where you can get rolled if they manage to do an upa. Instead of going sideways, you're just going to do this and then get your hips nice and low to the mat. So watch the difference. Deep. Slap. And then do this. And then my hips drive low to the mat. My shoulders go high. And then I'm just trying to touch my shoulder to my palm. Like that. And then now when she tries to turn in, can't do it. So instead of rolling, I'm just trying to touch my shoulder to my palm. One more time. Deep. Grab the armpit. And then shoulder to palm. Drop your hip like that. Yep. And then really push with your shoulder. All right, so I'll do all three one more time fast. Pry bar, coffin hand, shoulder of justice. Pry bar. Coffin hand. And shoulder of justice. All right, thank you. Okay, we're rolling. Okay, next I'm going to detail shoulder of justice from cross-eyed top. Hi, this is Kane Prevost from Straight Blast Gym, Portland, Oregon, and this is Ella Prevost. Today I'm going to show you the SBG famous shoulder of justice pressure from cross-eyed top. If you do this pressure right, it should create a tremendous amount of discomfort for the bottom guy, and occasionally you can actually even get a tap from it. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. I'm going to show you a really basic way of doing it that only requires one arm, and that's why I really like it. I'm going to start out in a traditional cross-eyed top. I'm going to be blocking out her hip. I can block it out with my knee or I can block it out with my hand, but in either case I'm blocking out the hip. And I'm going to come under here deep. My fingers on this side are going to go under her armpit like this and grab just with the fingers here, and that's going to be really critical because that's going to make everything work like that. After my fingers grab, I'm going to take my shoulder and I'm going to attach it to her chest here and then slide it into place, and that's one of the secrets. Fingers in, my shoulder is going to attach to her chest here, and then it's going to slide into place like that. And then once my shoulder comes into place, which is right here, in this spot right here, it's kind of right on the carotid artery, I have to apply pressure. And here's where things get a bit funny because the angle of pressure is going to be really important. Now, a lot of people want to apply pressure this way, and I'll show you that, but the actual pressure has to be up this way. And so that's going to be super key. So I'm blocking out her hip. I'm going to go deep, all the way to the bicep. Grab here, and then bring my shoulder back and attach it, and then slide it into place. Now, I'm going to show you how people make a mistake with this pressure, is they start pressuring this way. And you can tell I'm pressuring the wrong way because my elbow is going to lift up off the mat. Like that. If your elbow is lifting up off the mat, you're applying pressure that way, which is not going to be really strong. You want to apply pressure this way. So now I'm going to apply pressure this way, and you're going to see it's going to be a much stronger pressure with the shoulder, and then I'll detail a little bit of how to really make a lot of uncomfortable pressure for the bottom person. So I go in all the way to the bicep, grab underneath here, take my shoulder, back it up and attach, slide it into place, and then I'm going to apply pressure that way, like that. And when you do it, they should begin to get really uncomfortable in that position. So a couple of keys that make this work. One is the position of your body. You want your body at a 90-degree angle, not less. That's going to give you the most amount of pressure. And you want your body to be up at the shoulder girdle and not at the halfway point, because that's going to give you more pressure. Let me show you what I mean. So here I have everything right, except my body is right down the center of her body. I'm going to adjust it up and move it up more towards the head. Put your body where you want to apply the pressure, and it's going to work better. So instead of being here, I'm going to move up her body a little bit. All the way to the bicep, grab underneath, attach the shoulder, move it in place. Now I'm going to take my body and move it this way a bit, like that. And now I'm in a much better spot to apply pressure. I'm going to make sure I'm at a 90-degree angle, and you can see I'm in line with her shoulder girdle here, and that way I can apply the pressure like that. And if she tries to move, she's not gonna, and you can see her starting to turn purple. So eventually you might get them tapped out. So the secret is move up the body and bring yourself in line here with the shoulders. Attach your shoulder here, drop your shoulder so that it's going down towards the mat in that way. Your hips, the best thing to do with your hips is just to sort of settle them and lower them towards the mat. Tipping your body one way or another is not super helpful because I think it takes some of the pressure away and it gives the bottom guy a little bit of escape opportunity.